Hello, everybody. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about economics and a little bit about living conditions and how some of these economic situations led to some pretty poor living conditions. The first thing you'll see here is the cycle of boom and bust. Now, this is something that we as a society and really as a country has really gone through throughout their existence. And it seems to be, I guess for lack of a better term, a natural cycle as one feeds into the other. So if you look up here, a boom and bust cycle is when the economy grows very quickly, and this can be to many sort of factors. Maybe the stock market's going up. Maybe there's a bonanza harvest in some sort of agricultural field, or it could really be due to bad situations in other countries who then become more dependent on the United States in this case to produce whatever they can't produce. But it always happens when the economy grows rapidly, then it starts to slow down and starts to shrink. People need less of the materials because they've already purchased them, and the demand tends to go down. So, boom is associated with profit. Well, the bust cycle, of course, is associated with loss. And so, if you look down here, we see high demand always is going to equal high prices. Now, of course, the other factor is what's the availability. But when demand is high, the prices tend to be high as well. Now, higher prices means more production, and the company owners are saying, "Wow, people want our product. There's high demand, and we're making money off it. Let's produce more." Of course, when you have high prices and people are buying it, you start to feel optimistic about business, saying, "Wow, things are going really, really well. They're going to continue to go well," and you sort of expect, your prices will be, higher expectation of prices, higher expectation of profit, and that leads to, okay, now I have all this sort of profit. Where can I invest it? And that's where speculation comes in. So you speculate either on business or land, meaning that you buy perhaps new factories or invest in the manufacturing process to make it more efficient, or maybe you decide to invest in land. And as long as the economy and things are going well, it's great. However, eventually production will surpass demand, and now you have more products than you have demand for, and that is when prices and wages start to fall. You have to lower the price in order to attract customers to buy something that they might really not need. After that, land and stock values begin to fall, and investment in the USA starts to flow elsewhere. And what we mean by that is because the economy appears as if it's slowing down, people say, look, we have other opportunities in other areas, in other countries, that their economy is doing a little bit better. And so if we invest our money in these places that are doing better, we're going to make more profit than if we kept our investments here in the United States. And this whole cycle is something that we have gone through. We seem to be right now in the boom part of it with the great value of the stock market and the economy being humming along at very, very low unemployment. And the question is, are we going to hit the bust cycle? And when are we going to hit it, really? Well, one of the things that really was a result of a lot of profit and also a lot of manufacturing was the growth of cities. And people moved to cities mainly for manufacturing type jobs. There were a lot more jobs available in the city than there were in the rural areas. Now, when we talk about an urban boom, we look at New York City's population here at 1820, 123,000. 40 years later, and yes, I know 40 years later is a lot, but you're talking close to 700,000 more people in a matter of 40 years. So, that's sure, I know 40 years is a long time, but 700,000 people is just a unimaginable amount of people in that time, especially for this time where we are in the mid 1800s or so. So this rapid urbanization led to many problems. You had uneven distribution of wealth, where you had a lot of people pouring into the cities that didn't really have a lot of money, and they were generally poor. And you had a lot of people, the owners of the factories and production, were very wealthy. And we had the top 10% owned 75% of the wealth. This led to extreme poverty. You had poor wages because it was easy to find workers. There were so many people in the city that if one worker didn't like his job, fine, there's 1,000 other there waiting and begging for work. You had a difficulty to secure full-time work. Um, Women and children, and even children of very young ages, were forced to work, and you could pay them less. Um, the other thing, as you can see here, you can pay women and children less because this belief that they were working for extra money because they had a head of the household or a man providing for them. But we know that if you're living in these kind of conditions, or this beautiful situation here, yeah, the conditions aren't probably not going to be so great for you. It looks like you really could use the extra money. Well, living was not all that great either. Houses built for two families oftentimes held up to four just to help pay the rent. The terrible inside living conditions encouraged people to spend more time outdoors, but as you can see, outdoors wasn't exactly all that beautiful. You had raw sewage flowing throughout the streets, garbage everywhere, pigs, geese, dogs, vultures just roaming around, giant rats living under the wooden sidewalks. Really not a good thing to be in the big city. Now, of course, on the inside were this thing called tenements, and they were documented by a person named Jacob Riis. And tenements are a very poor living conditions. And Jacob Riis wrote a book, or he's a photojournalist, so it was really like a photo book called "How the Other Half Lives." Whoops, there's "How the Other Half Lives," and it documented the existence of poor people. Now, here is a website that you can go to, and you can check out the things there. And there's a bunch of like this, so go ahead and you can check that out. Okay, don't know if that showed up, so hopefully it did. All right, you guys, that is it. Thank you very much.